Good evening. I'm Sokovia with You're Plugged In. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to meet you indeed.
Bless you.
So give us a little background information on Mr. J.Moss.
No, what we plugged into? What we you didn't think this was going to be a normal, conventional interview, did you? I'm going to drive. I just want you to know. You got your little cards and stuff, but I'm driving, okay?
So be it. Go ahead.
Well, it's your boy J.Moss. We're down here in, nope. I don't know what part of Florida I am, but they keep saying it's one of them Dades, and I think it's the south part. Mm-hmm. And they say a lot of artists don't come down this way, but what Kiani's doing, I'm definitely glad to be a part of that. Me and my crew, Pajam 2103, to come down here and support what he's doing. I just heard a lot of great things about what's going on in this community, how he's bringing it back up, and the pastors are getting involved, and people are just, really caring and concerning and embracing the children and everybody else in the community. So we're definitely glad to be a part of that. Me, just to, save, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, boy from Detroit, Michigan, part of the Moss legacy. My dad, Bill Moss Sr., who was just eclectic in the gospel music genre back in the 60s and 70s. And he basically got me started in all of this. And it's just been a great, 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 great ride.
Now, I know you mentioned
you
your
still
father.
ain't driving.
Now, as the nephew of the legendary Dr. Mattie Moss Clark, the son of Bill Moss Sr., of Bill Moss and
You've
the
been
Celestials.
Googling and Wikipedia?
Yes,
I've
done my research. Cousins with the Clark sisters. How would you say music has shaped you into the man you've
Well, first
become
of all,
today?
I learned them how to do everything that they know how to do.
Oh, really?
I learned all of them. You know what I'm saying? They say
Is
the best
that
for
what
last.
it is?
You know what? It's just, I'm a sponge. I've basically soaked and sucked up everything from them, from Twinkie and her musicianship, and my dad from his showmanship, my auntie for her leadership, my mama for her, just being a ram in the bush for me. Right. Just, keeping that hedge of prayer over my life. And, so just all those elements, I think, just kind of really, help mold and shape J.Moss to who he is. I mean, by myself, I'm nothing. It's because of all of those people, Karen, Dorinda, Twinkie, mama, dad, auntie, even Kiera, who's coming up now, her and her brother, J. Drew. It's just so much talent in the family, and I think we just all kind of feed off each other.
Right. Now, when did you know that this would be your profession?
About 4 or 5.
5?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew from birth, basically, that I was different.
Right. Now, I know you're a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at what age do you recall writing your first song?
I can't remember. I know it was definitely a song called Thanks to Parents that I did on one of my dad's records, one of the groups he had, a group called the Leviticus. And it was right around Mama's Day, So I wrote something, and it was one of those kind of situations. My dad was always in my face about, you need to write. You need to write. And I don't want to, because my brother, who I used to sing with at an early age, who you didn't mention, so your
Bill Moss Jr.
Your Wikipedia and your Google.
Bill Moss Jr.
But we had a group called the Moss Brothers, and he would do all the writing, or my dad would do the writing. So, but my dad was always just in my face like, you gotta write, you gotta write, you gotta write. I thank God for him now, because that's really how I sustain my family, is through writing and royalties and residuals. Yes.
Now, of all the songs that you've written and produced, which ones would you rank amongst your favorites?
Oh, I mean, the stuff we did for NSYNC, which was Do Your Thing, and Kelly Price, You Should Have Told Me I Was
That's one of my favorites now.
Songs like that, because, they made us a whole lot of money. And I tell people all the time, ain't nothing like R&B and pop money.
Really?
And that stuff we do for business sake.
Right.
I do that to keep food on the table and whatnot. But my calling is here, is in Jesus, and being able to transform lives and to be able to help brothers like Kiani, do what he's trying to do, and it's because the word and the message in this type of music. I'm so glad that he thought enough of me, to partner up with me and my crew to get this message out. And then on the gospel side, it would definitely be like We Must Praise, probably my biggest song.
Yes, that's one of my favorites.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
It?
It's
Now,
on
do
my
you?
iTunes.
Okay, all right.
Now, what challenges have you overcome as it relates to the industry?
You don't.
Wow.
You don't. Every day is a struggle, because it's always a door shut. It's always a critic. It's always time away from your children, time away from your wife. You just don't get over that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you can try to balance it and mask it, and we put on these smiles and stuff like this. But you know, it's a lot of grind.
Right.
You know, and you know, people always say, you know, you're gonna make your sons sing or get into the music. I'm like, no, I want them to stay as far away from this as they possibly can. Not that it isn't good, but it just, I know how
emotional toll.
Much. Yeah, it takes an emotional toll, and I know how that struggle can be. You know, such an uphill climb. And so funny, I read a book not too long ago, and it said 95 to 98% of the people that go out for the music business fail.
Wow.
That's a huge number. So you mean it's only 0.3 of us, 0.4, you know what I'm saying, you know, 3%, 5%, 6%, even 10% of us only are the ones that made it?
Right.
You know, it's like you got to have better odds doing something else.
Right.
You know, but if this is your calling, you know, all jokes aside, if this is your calling and the Lord has put it on your heart to do this, he'll definitely begin to part the ways and make ways for you. You know, but if it ain't, go do something else.
Now, over the years, how would you say gospel music has changed?
Oh, we're more praise and worship now. You know, so anybody can do it. You know, now I don't know how much of a good thing that is.
No.
You know, because before praise and worship, there were real songs.
Right.
You know, real songs, you know, what Andre Crouch was doing, what Walter Hawkins was doing, James Cleveland, people like my dad in the quartet era and all those guys were there. They were writing real tunes. Right. You know, now we're just praising for the daffodils and the doves and the trees and the wind. You know, it's like, what are we doing? But no, I mean, we definitely have some great praise and worship writers out there, but, you know, I definitely think it has simplified what we do a lot. So no disrespect to anybody, but, you know, we gotta continue to push ourselves to really get in the studio, get with God, and really come up with some nice lyrics and some great melodies and songs.